Freedom is not just declared, it is exercised. Ferdinand Marcos. The People Power Revolution was a 3-day revolution which took down the President of the Philippines, Ferdinand Marcos. The revolution took place because of many events such as the declaration of martial law and the assassination of Benigno Aquino. Marcos's government used violence on multiple occasions, and the reason that he was overthrown is because rebels used non-violence instead of violence. Seems confusing, right? Well, in this video, we will analyze to what extent non-violence is an effective strategy. So in order to understand this revolution, you will need some context to get situated. The non-violence of the revolution was an idea led by Corazon Aquino, the wife of Senator Benigno Aquino, who was assassinated by Marcos's men for going against the government. The assassination of Benigno Aquino was one of the main reasons that the revolution began. Instead of using violence to kill those who disagree with one's beliefs, Corazon used non-violent acts that would hurt the government and not the people, such as boycotts, strikes, and protests that would block the army from continuing. Ultimately, this led to the downfall of Marcos, making Corazon Aquino the new president of the Philippines. Although this might seem a bit grand, non-violence did fail at times. For example, when the government did use violence against the people. Corazon Aquino did not approve of violent acts that the government made, because she knew that that was not how they were going to win the revolution. She believed that peace was all they needed in order to make it happen. During one of her speeches, she said, "I'm not asking for a violent revolution. It's not time for that." These non-violent acts were pretty effective considering that they overthrew the president, but it came with the cost. Countless peaceful protesters' lives were lost during these protests. Obviously, this revolution is proof that non-violence works, but there were times where in this revolution it did not. An example of this was the peaceful protest of Monday, February 24, 1986. The protest was blocking the army from passing, but the army used tear gas to remove all the protesters. A clear example of violence. On the other hand, an example of non-violence working is when the Defense Ministry of the Philippines resigned. Juan Ponce Enrile, the Minister of Defense, and Lieutenant Fidel Ramos, the Vice Chief of Staff, encouraged more and more people to join the opposition. Additionally, they received military support in the case that the revolution went out of control. In both scenarios, the impact of non-violence was the predominant movement. The migration of people supporting Marcos slowly decreased and increased numbers for the rebels. This was the most powerful aspect of non-violence in the scenario. When Marcos saw how the people power was getting stronger, he always tried to think one step ahead. When the people made peaceful protests to stop the army, tear gas was used against them. When they broadcasted their non-violent plans of action, the government cut off their antenna. But thinking a step ahead was not even close to what they needed in order to stop the people. From the People Power Revolution, we can learn that non-violent acts are effective in making sure people agree with you. Instead of making a direct change, it makes people join your side, which inflict change. We also learn that violence can briefly stop non-violent movements, but with consistent effort, non-violence cannot be stopped. By using non-violence against violent governments, you give the world an impression of what the government is really doing. This helps spread a message to the world saying that justice needs to be brought to a place of unfairness.